All right, I have a bit of a dilemma that I would like to resolve with this personal software. And essentially what I want to make today is a Canvas style ChatGPT image wrapper, right? I don't love the chat interface. It's kind of clunky and it doesn't really get my creative juices flowing. And so I think a more Canvas style interface will serve my creative juices in a way that is actually more fun to interact with the image gen that we are working with, right? Like I said, chat doesn't let you arrange your ideas in a visual map, and it breaks that creative flow that I like to get into when I am actually creating images or anything creative for the various projects that I'm working on, right? And so standard chat image generation, you have a chat like ChatGPT or any of the other LLMs that you use for image generation. You send in a prompt, right? You wait a couple of seconds and then you get an image. And then what I want to create is basically imagine this as the whole canvas, right? Basically kind of like this whiteboard that's the app layout with. So you have nodes over here. I'm thinking maybe like sidebar, toolbar right here, and then nodes where you enter your prompt, and then connected to the prompt, you can have your image right here, and then you can spin up as many prompts as you want. I just put out 2 right here. But yeah, that's the general consensus of how I want to build this app. If you want to build this along with me, feel free to follow along. And so yeah, let's dive in, let's get to building. And as far as Canvas style image generation apps go, there are already some that exist. So let's use Recraft for example. Yeah, let's use their example. And so yeah, this is kind of what I'm envisioning, right? You enter a prompt, you can set all your specs, and then the image just kind of generates here. And I think while that generates, I think you can do like another one. So let's do an elephant, a cute purple elephant. Boom. See, and then I don't really know the mechanics of this. Aha. So you just copy it, and then for this one, it can be a kangaroo. Let's make this one green though. Awesome. And then we can copy that one. So yeah, this is the workflow that I want to recreate. Let's make a silver fish. So yeah, this is actually pretty cool. And then yeah, if you click on it, that's how you can edit it. And yeah, you can just create variations. So let's see this one, a cute green kangaroo. If I were to duplicate it and generate that same thing, it'll give me like a different variant. Yeah, see? So yeah, this is awesome. This is exactly what we want to recreate. And so now let's hop into ChatGPT so we can get our prototype prompt to drop into V0 to kind of build this Canvas style image generation app out for us. We're in ChatGPT and I have my prompt for V0 right here. And essentially what I told it is I want a full screen creative playground style web app interface designed for generating images using the ChatGPT image model. So we'll just copy that and we'll go right into V0. And V0 is a really cool tool that essentially allows you to go from prompt to prototype in a matter of seconds. And it's free for a certain amount of users a day, which is really awesome. I use this tool as a first step in the process of just really honing in the UI, the user interface, and the user experience of the app before I build out the functionality with other advanced AI tools. Let's drop this in and send her off and see what she cooks. And just like that, in the matter of seconds, V0 went out and built our pretty clean UI, right? And so here you can see the prompt that I gave it. It thought, and if you've seen my last video, my beginner tutorial tech stack, this is very similar to the tool bolt.new. You can see the chat on the left-hand side, and then the prototype or the preview of your app that it built for you in the right-hand side, as well as the code files that it went out and built out for us. But yeah, let's check this out just to see if we want to add any other things to it. So yeah, this is perfect. Literally exactly what we wanted. Awesome. And so it's not gonna work, but a big black truck. Generate image. I'll be very surprised if it worked. But yeah, so yeah, it just gave me like a placeholder image. And yeah, we can add prompt blocks. And so yeah, I think this is a pretty cool start here. And we even have a dark mode feature, which is pretty cool. Oh yeah, and you can even collapse the toolbar. Awesome. So this is a really good start. Let's kind of tweak around, see what other things that we can build out in Recraft. If not, we'll just hop right into our IDE. Today we'll be using Claude Code to build out this app. Claude Code is a really cool tool. You'll see that here shortly. It'll essentially build out our whole app for us without us writing a single line of code. Okay. Okay, so something that I noticed on our newly built app is once you add like a prompt block, it's kind of a tongue twister, but yeah, you can't close them out, which is annoying. So let's make that small edit before we import this into Cursor and continue to build this app out with Claude Code. Please add a function to the prompt blocks where I can close one out if I would like to. And so yeah, all you do with the no code AI tools is basically prompt it with whatever you want, the same way you would chat GPT. Think of the chat just like a standard chat LLM, and then you just give it the features that you want to improve on, and it goes off with that task and it'll do its thing. So let's check in on it when it's done with that. Oh, looks like we're done. Let's see. Perfect. See if it works. Generate image. It won't work. And even gave us a little thing right there. That's new. Okay, awesome. I think we're at a good enough place where we can continue building out the functionality of this app in our IDE. So let's do that now. All right, now we need to get this app into Cursor so that we can edit it with Claude Code. So to do that, we need to download our code, and we can just download the zip. That will then open up our downloads. Let's double click on that. Now we have our code files that we imported from V0 in our downloads. And now what we want to do is we want to come to Cursor. Let's grab a new window. We'll open a new project, find our download, click here, and then we'll just open. Okay, now we are in Cursor, and here is all of our code that got from V0. And now I want to open Claude Code. All right, so that just opens us up right here on the side. Let's wait for it to do its thing. And now it's asking, do we trust the files in the folder? Yes, we do. And awesome. Now we have Claude Code inside, ready to work. All right. And if you don't have Claude Code installed within Cursor, all you have to do is come to your extensions right here and then just search for Claude Code. And it's going to be the one by Anthropic. Okay. Awesome. So now what I'm going to just start off is tell me about this app, please. And then Claude Code will go and suss through our code files and tell us what kind of situation we have over here with these files. So you can see it says, I'll examine the app structure to understand what this application is about. Beautiful. Here it is. This is a visual flow playground, a React Next.js application, which is the technology used to build the app for creating AI image generation workflows through a visual node-based interface. Okay, so it gives us our tech stack. Yeah, it says it's using placeholders instead of AI generation. Yes, we know that. The app appears to be a prototype demo for a visual AI image generation tool, similar to Comfy UI or other node-based creative tool. Awesome. Okay, now I am going to create 2 new files. To do that, all you want to do is come over to your list of files. You want to right-click, new file. This file will be called claude.md. And as you can see over here to your right, this is what Claude Code suggests, right? Create a Claude.md file. And this is just a list of special instructions that you want to give your Claude Code. And I also want to create a file called the todo.md. And basically this is where Claude Code will write all its tasks and check them off as it goes, so you can keep track of where it is in the process of building, right? And so here are my rules for Claude Code. Very simple. And then the todo.md, you can see I reference it in here. And the first rule is to first think through the problem, read the code base for relevant files, and write a plan to do.md. And then I'll leave these rules in the description so that you can use them for yourself as you build out projects, or if you're following along with this build here. All right. And so now what I want to do is let's move this down to the bottom. I want to basically run. Let's see if it is actually running, make sure all of our technology is installed. So I'm going to do the command npm run dev, right? And it appears like everything is not within my project. I don't really know why this is. And so I'm going to just go into Claude Code and say, when I tried to run this app locally, I got this error in the terminal. And let me, paste that. Please fix. And so it's gonna go and figure out what the issue is, why it's not running. Yeah, is what I suspected. The dependencies aren't installed yet, and so now Claude Code will go through and run those dependencies for me. All right, it was another error. So now it's asking to install legacy peer deps to resolve it. Let's wait for that to cook. And see, as you can see, like I haven't written a single line of code. I haven't really installed anything. All I have been doing is just chatting with these different AI tools, and they handle all the heavy lifting for me. So this is why I truly believe anybody can code now. Anybody can build. All you have to do is kind of have an understanding, a general understanding of what you want. And if you don't even have that, you can just chat to a chatbot and figure it out. All right, so it looks like my dependencies are now installed. It's asking to start the development server for me, but I'm just going to do it myself. So I'll just say no and tell Claude what to do differently. And I'll come back here and I'll clear this. And now I'll do the same command, npm run dev, and it is going in and looks like our app is running. So what I'll do is come command click, boom, and boom. Beautiful. We're here. So let's go open that in that tab. And yeah, let's see. We have our prompt block and we have our, everything's looking good. We have dark mode intact. Awesome. Okay, now what you want to do is essentially let Claude know where you are at in the process. And so what I'm going to say is, great, the app is running locally now. And I'm letting Claude know that I want to go into the planning phase because Claude Code is really good at planning the whole journey and the specs of the app. And so I'm just prompting it and nudging it in a way that I know that it will be successful. Now let's plan out how we will build this functionality. Ask me any questions if you are unsure about what I would want built out. All right, now let's plan out what we build, how we build this functionality. Ask me any questions if you're unsure about what I want built out. And I think that's all the context it really needs. And really it's because it already knows what's kind of going on. So let me give it a little bit of more context. A little more context of this app is it is essentially like a recraft clone where I want to use the GPT image, or let me just say GPT-4o image model in a canvas like interface for better creative flow. Great, the app is running locally now. Now let's plan out how we build this functionality. Ask me any questions if you are unsure about what I want built out. A little more context of this app is essentially like a recraft clone where I want to use a GPT-4o image model in a canvas-like interface for better creative flow. Okay, and then if you do, I think it's Command Shift, or is it Shift Tab? Yeah, Shift Tab lets you cycle through modes. And so you can see this is auto accept, edits, and so basically that's YOLO mode. If you don't know what YOLO mode means, essentially all it means is it will just go through and make edits without your approval. And so I want to put it on plan mode so that it'll build out this whole plan for us to execute our build out for our functionality. So let's hit enter on that and let's let it brew and do its thing, and we will check in on it when it's done. All right, Claude Code has gone through and executed our prompt. As you can see, it said, let me research the current implementation to better understand what we're building. And it went and did its research. And now it says, perfect, I understand what we're building. I can see the current implementation uses placeholder images and simulates a 2-second delay. Let me ask a few clarifying questions before presenting my plan. So the questions, API approach. Do you want to use OpenAI's API directly, or would you prefer a Next.js API route to handle the backend integration for security? Let's see, image parameters. Besides what other parameters should users be able to control, like image style, cool. Error handling. How would we handle API failures or rate limits? Show error states in the image blocks and image storage. Should generated images be temporarily stored or just displayed from OpenAI's URLs? Recraft like features. What specific recraft features are you most interested in? Style, presets, iteration controls, batch operations, or export options. Okay, and so then you can see the whole plan here is to create API route, for secure OpenAI integration, replace placeholder logic with a generate image function. Environment setup. Yep, cool. All that looks good. Enhance creative features, image parameters, add controls for size, style, and quality, and prompt blocks. Quick select. Yeah, I like those quick select buttons. Download, copy, regenerate buttons on image blocks. And okay, should we add style presets or keep it simple initially? Any specific error handling, budget considerations for OpenAI API. Ready to start phase 1. All right, let me see here. Let me close out terminal. And so let me answer these questions. So do you want to use OpenAI's API directly, or would you prefer a Next.js API route to handle backend integration for security? So let's just say no, keep planning. So we want best security practices for OpenAI API. What other question did it ask? What other parameters users should be able to control? So users should be able to control image size parameters to start, or just displayed from OpenAI's URL. Let's display images from OpenAI URL. We just need a function to download images that we like. Recraft features I really like how you can duplicate an image and iterate all that. Also like that when you click or when you want to generate an image, that the image size pops up and then you enter the prompt on the left hand. I like how you can generate multiple at a time from the same prompt box. The only thing that changes the prompt is on the left is when you click on its corresponding image. Okay, and I'm just gonna send that off because I don't know if that prompt is as clear as it wants, so that's why I'm still in plan mode. And let me just make sure I answer basically all of the questions. Also, FYI, this app is simply an internal tool for my personal use. So just giving a little bit more context of why we're actually building this tool. All right, so let's let it jive now. And yeah, so now saying perfect. Thanks for those details. Let's refine the plan based on the Recraft inspired workflow, preferences, and security requirements. All right, and so hopefully you learning something from this process, right? I'm just really on the spot thinking of what I want and chatting to Claude Code as if it was my senior software engineer. All right, cool. Like all that looks good. Phase 1, the API integration, and then phase 2, phase 3. Let me make sure that I'm gonna keep planning. Be sure that we are using the image or the GPT image 1 model API instead of DALL-E 3. This is an important distinction because I just find that GPT 4.0 image model, which is indicated by this in API language, is better than DALL-E 3. So I want to make sure that Claude Code knows like that is the model that we want to use. So it's wandering about and it's probably going to update the plan. And yep, it sure did. And yeah, I think we are golden. And I'm just going to select yes and let it proceed. And I'm going to manually approve these edits just to start out. And then probably as we go throughout the build, I'll probably put it on YOLO mode or auto accept. So let's do that. And yeah, now we are adding some functionality to our app. So as you can see, it's updating these to-dos, and then now it's installing the technology it needs. And then as it does this thing, you just go through and accept these edits. All right. Now I'm just gonna put it in YOLO mode and kind of let it go through. And yeah, let's let it forage, let's let it cook, and we will come back once we're done. Okay, now it has completed. So it's saying phase 1 is complete, and it basically went out and added our API route. It set up our environment. It gave us image size controls. We have real image generation now and download functionality. So our app is running on our local host, and it basically is saying it's working. All we have to do is go grab our API key from OpenAI and drop it into the env.local file. So let's do that now. So it is platform.openai.com. And if you've seen my last video, we've already been through this process, but if you need a refresher or if this is your first time, like I said, open or platform.openai.com. And then you just want to come to your API keys, and then you want to create a new secret key. You name it whatever you want. I'm going to do mine off screen because it is imperative that these private API key is in its file. I'm not going to click on it because it will reveal my key, but this is where you want to put your OpenAI key. You want to save it. And now let's test out to see if we are working. I'll restart our server. Stop it. Then we can clear her out and npm run dev. This will take us to preview our app, and let's see what we have. Awesome. You can see now we have portrait, square, or landscape, which is cool. Cartoon, image, of Joshua tree. All right, let's see what we got. We have an error. Perfect. Now all we want to do with errors is simple, right? Invalid OpenAI API key. Not really sure how that is. Let me just go back to cursor and let it know I got this error when I was trying to generate an image. It is saying that my API key is invalid when I just grab a new one. And then you paste in the error and let's just see what it says. It could be that I didn't format it right. It is going to figure out the issue. See the issue you need to replace with your actual OpenAI API key. Let me also check if there might be an issue with the correct model name for I don't want to use. So it does this. It always defaults to DALL-E 3 when it can't figure something out. Say no, I don't want to use DALL-E 3. I want to use the image or GPT image 1 model. Please look the docs for models API and implement the correct functionality for this to work. And you see here, I'm referencing the docs, and basically what docs are basically like a how-to or documentation on how to use third-party services technology within your app. Basically a working manual on how to use their technology. Now, Claude Code is really cool because it has access to the internet, so it can go out and search up these docs on its own. Sometimes it does have a bit of a difficulty, so I'm going to test it out here. If not, if all else fails, I'll just give it the docs myself. So let's send that off. So yep, you see here it's doing a web search for OpenAI GPT-4o image API documentation. Now it wants to fetch another piece of content, official documentation. Not sure why that failed. It found a pivot. As Claude Code figures this out, if you learn anything so far, let me know in the comments exactly what you learned. Also in the comments, let me know what other apps or tools you want me to build so that you can follow along and build for yourself. All right, now it's shucking. It would be hilarious if after it says shucking it said jiving. Really cool thing about Claude Code is that they implemented some humor with these little, I don't even know what you call them, updates on what it's doing. May I remind you, as always, we have not written a single line of code. All we've done is dropped in an API key, and now it looks like Claude has come back with some results, which is pleasant. It says, perfect. Now I have the correct implementation details. Let me update the API route to use the GPT image 1 model with the correct parameter. Awesome. I already gave him my API key, so let's just check to see if it's actually working now. So let me refresh our app. Let me get a prompt block. We'll get square and cartoon image of Joshua tree. Nope, it's still saying invalid API key. So let me check just to make sure my API key is actually right and working. Let me do that off screen though. I think I found the issue. Be sure once you place in your API key that you save your project. And so now I'm going to restart our server and run her again. Cool. Oh, and fingers crossed that we get an image generation. So yep, let's see. Let's call her cartoon of Joshua tree. Generate the image. Okay, we're spinning for a lot longer now. That is a great sign. Wow. Let's see if we can add a prompt block and do 2 at a time. Let's do the Grand Canyon. I'm not gonna do 2 at a time yet, just to make sure that the 1 works. Thing about ChatGPT image 1 or the ChatGPT 4o image model is that it takes a while. It takes us time to generate images, but it gets a pass because the image quality is very, very high. And we have another error, but this time it's a different error, so that is lovely. Let's copy it and let Claude know. Okay, we have a new error now. Please fix. And so now it is ruminating on the error. It says the error is too generic. Let me check the server logs to see the actual error. And we got a 500 error in the server log. Did it say it? Okay, no, it's just going to improve error handling for us so that we can better identify why the image isn't generating. Okay, try. Let's see. I am determined to see the Joshua tree. Let's see here. Fingers crossed we get an output. Still taking its precious time. Oh, yep, we got another failure. All right, let's see if we got a more detailed error. Here is error now upon trying to generate. Now it's discombobulated, of course. You can see now that it's saying the root cause is the GPT image 1 model is either not available yet for your account, which is incorrect, requires additional verification. I already verified it, and it is in limited beta, not fully released, which it is released. I've built apps with this API before, and so it defaulted to the DALL-E, which it said it worked, but I'm going to do what I mentioned before, tell it like its analysis may be incorrect by saying the model is available on my account. I've used it in other apps before, and I'm gonna say here are the docs on how to implement this model's API. Then let's go fetch the docs, GPT image 1 API docs. Let's search that. Boom, boom. Image generation overview. So let me give it a JavaScript example code for the image API. So I'm gonna copy that. Go back to Claude Code. Here is some example code on how to implement this model's API. Let me specify this is JavaScript example, and then let's just paste that in and send it. So you saw what I did there. I just basically searched up GPT image 1 API. I went to the first link, and I scrolled the site just to figure out how to generate images. As you can see here, right? Just generate images, and this is perfect. I see the key differences in your working example. The main issue is there's no size parameter, returns B64 JSON, not the URL, and no quality parameter. And so it's going in and making those changes. And you'll notice that's what you have to do with a lot of these APIs. Not all of them work the same. And so the LLM, which is Claude Sonnet 4, essentially, it is not super up to date with all of the changing technologies and how to implement certain APIs. And so that's why it's important for you to kind of go on the internet yourself and source these to give context to the LLM or your whatever agent you're using to code for you. And it'll typically, once you do that, it has success. And you can see here it has some success with the image URL. So fingers crossed that it is now working in our app. Alrighty, so perfect. GPT-4o is now working. The API successfully generated an image. Alrighty, let's test her out. Should be able to still use this one. Refresh, and let's get our image of the Joshua tree, shall we? See, fingers crossed that it's working. So far, so good. No errors. Let's see. Again on our server. Success. Got it. Very cool. All right. Now let's make a quick update. So you can download it, but I want to be able to click on it and like expand the image. So let me let Claude Code know. Great work. We now have image gen. Before proceeding to phase 2, I want to be able to click on the image and see it bigger to check the details of the image. Be sure to add a close feature. Be sure to add a close feature to the expanded image. Also, I want these images to save locally. So all images, let's just leave it at that. I want these images to save locally. So please implement that. All right, we're gonna send that off, let it cook, let it ruminate, let it manifest, and then we'll check in once it's done. All right, we are set to test this out again. Let me just pull up. All right, it says that we should be able to enlarge our image once we generate it, and we also have some local storage. So let's see if our images persist. Now I want to generate cartoon depiction of a cosmic country, whatever that means, right? Let's see what the AI interprets it as. So with this test, what we're testing is to see if we get some persistence, as in like our images save, as well as once the image generates, if we click on it, we should be able to see it a little bit larger to be able to check out the details. And then after this, awesome. Yes, look at this. Beautiful. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, so it should save. If I refresh, doesn't save. Okay, so let me ask that where it's, let's say when I refresh the page, the image disappears. Wait where are they saving locally? All right, let's send that off. We're right, the images are disappearing because, okay, so it's saying something about size limits. So let's check in on that. Let me create a proper image storage solution. Cool. All right, once this gets situated, I am going to show you one more design tip or tool that you can use to make the app look a lot better. Right now, it's just kind of plain black and white, kind of boring, kind of drab, and it doesn't really scream a creative tool. And so I'm going to show you a really cool way to add some color and some styling to this app to customize it the way you want it. So let's wait for that to finish. So it's saving something to like IndexedDBs, which is a database if you didn't know. Going to the implementation. Okay, so it says it's implemented that. What I'm going to do now, since we're kind of going to shift gears here, let's compact our conversation. And what this does is it makes room in the chat window. Essentially, every chat that you have takes away context, or it uses up tokens to take in all the context. So we're going to compact that so that it's not using up a bunch of tokenage. And yeah, we're just gonna I just did that with /compact. And Claude Code has a bunch of different commands that you can use within the software, but that's just a compact one. And yeah, this video is getting long, so make sure you leave comments if you want to see me build out phase 2. Other than that, I'm just going to do a design tweak, no pun intended, and you'll realize that once I show you the tool. But just to make, as I said, this a little bit more flashy and just a little bit more lively. So let's wait for that to compact. Let's add some pizzazz or some life to our new tool, right? Like I said, it's kind of boring. It's black and white, and yeah, I just don't love it. So let's go to this tool that I found called tweakcn. And basically what it is, it's self-explanatory. Design your perfect shadcn UI theme. So it's a really cool tool that you can use to essentially, it's just a library of cool UI designs. And so what I want to go through and find is kind of like something fun and lively, something that will get my creative juices flowing. Seems a bit cool. Doom 64, cyberpunk, kind of cool. Nature, also cool. Northern lights, because like I want it to be colorful, but I don't want the UI to kind of take away from the creative aspect of the app, if that makes sense. And so soft pop looks cool. Do I like soft pop, or do I kind of like the artistic feel of Notebook, but I want a little bit more color, you know? And I might just go with this. All right, I'm just gonna go with nature just because I like the green of the dark mode. All right, so let's say we want to use this. Let's go to the code for this. I'm just gonna copy this code and I'm going to give it to Claude Code and let it know that this is the kind of theme that we want for the app. Please apply the following theme to this app. Here is the code for the theme. Apply it in the correct file for it to display on our UI. All right, feel free to steal that prompt if you're following along. And now we're finagling with Claude Code. It says, I'll apply this theme to your visual flow playground. This theme needs to be added to the CSS globals file. So it knows exactly what to do with the code, and it will go and execute that task for us. And then we'll check to see what it looks like once it's done. Okay, so it went through and it looks like it added what we needed for our theme to our global CSS file. So let's check our app and we have an error. So no problem. We'll come in and we'll let Claude Code know. After those changes, I have this error on app. Paste it in and let's say, please fix. All right, so it sees the error and it's making the changes, and that was a simple change. Let's check our app just to see if what it did. Okay, yeah, it didn't really apply anything, honestly. Okay, didn't apply the theme changes. It is still black and white. The theme I chose from tweakcn has green colors in it that aren't showing up on the app. Please fix what might you need from me to get this theme to apply. All right, so let me send that off and let's figure out this issue. All right, it found the issue, and hopefully we have a new theme after it is done conjuring. All right, so let's let it cook and we'll check back in. Okay, now it says the theme should apply. We just have to restart the server. So let's restart her, clear her, and let's run it up. Run npm run dev and open, and fingers crossed we have a new theme. More errors, no worries. Let's paste her in. Now this error is on the, okay, so it found the fix, and let's see if we refresh. No, still have an error. Still have an error. We fix. Okay, so it found the issue again. Let's try it again. And now we have this ugly looking app. Let me check the console just to make sure there's nothing in there I right click on the browser, hit inspect, come into the console, and yeah, nothing. Okay, so now what we can do is take a screenshot of this app and let it know something is broken, obviously. And then to paste images, you want to do Control V. This is what that looks like now. All of our styling is gone and still no color theme. Please fix. And so now I gave it a visual reference of what the app is looking like. Yeah, the styling is completely broken. So yeah, it's gonna go in and fix that. And hopefully after this run, we will have a colorful theme image generation app. Actually, I have a better idea. Instead of using the pre-generated themes within tweakcn, I'm going to use AI to generate one that matches our app. So being that it's like a artistic canvas type vibe, I want to see what AI can do, see what it will generate if I ask it for a Basquiat style theme. So let's say that I would like a Basquiat type of vibe. Let's see, hold on, let me sign in real quick. Okay, so the theme it came up with is kind of lame. I don't like it to be completely honest. And so let's see, yeah, I'm just gonna use this Northern Lights one. Still don't really love it, but actually let's use Candyland. I think it looks fun and inviting. And so yeah, let's come get the code, and this time I'm going to copy the command and then give it to Claude Code. So here is the command for the theme I want on our or throughout our app. Let me put this on a separate line. Let it pontificate. Perfect. I'll run the Candyland theme command for you. Let me execute it. Go right ahead, Claude Code. Yes. And it says it's been installed. Seeing a duplication issue. Updating some Tailwind configs. Hopefully by the end of this run, we have a cool looking theme for our app. All right, so it says try refreshing now, and fingers crossed. Yes. Oh, we have a cool looking app. All right, awesome. Yeah, this looks good. Let's check out night mode. Very cool. So yeah, that concludes our video for today. Like I said earlier, comment what you learned down below. Let me know what you want to see me build next, and I will do my best to fill those build orders for you guys. Well, I know for beginners out there, if you don't see someone going through it, it's kind of hard to believe that you can do it too. So that is my main focus with these videos. I hope I maybe spark some information for you to go build out a similar tool or another tool. But yeah, that's my goal here, just to help, and happy to do so. See you in the next one. Peace.